Benioff and Weiss leave Star Wars to concentrate on a series of Netflix projects. That is the headline on today's MBE Movie News.
Yes, that's right, John. Benioff and Weiss have stepped away. According to them, it's to do with scheduling conflicts. Do you believe that?
I don't, Stephen. No, I don't. I think there is a series of reasons behind this departure, if you like, this fracture between obviously Lucasfilm and Benioff and Weiss. First and foremost, the primary reason is, I think, Stephen, the toxicity surrounding these two guys following obviously that shambles that was the season finale of Game of Thrones, and just the actual finale itself, not just the actual season, the final season, but that finale, it was terrible. It was leaked. People knew what the plot was. They realised Bran was sitting on the throne. Spoiler alert. They hated it. It was too late to do anything about it, and they've just took an enormous amount of flack since that very day. They bailed on Comic-Con, they shat the bed, if you like, wouldn't turn up and face the wrath of the fans, and that toxicity has just followed them through to just now. And I don't think Disney, Bob Iger, Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm need or want that controversy coming into Star Wars after the fracas between the fans and obviously Rian Johnson following The Last Jedi. They don't need it, they don't want it, and I think they've realised, look, this isn't getting away. We've still got a little bit of time between now and I think it's 2022 is the next movie, 3 years away. Let's cut the ties and move on and tart it up and make it look as though they're too busy. I don't believe they're too busy. There is another reason, but we'll get into that afterwards.
Obviously, we'll talk about the aftermath of this, John, and where this is going to leave Lucasfilm in a little moment. We'll talk about the situation first. I'm totally surprised by this, I've got to be honest with you. I thought they were very heavily invested in this. We've been talking about them for the past 2 years, certainly on our audio shows. We were talking about how excited we were that they were going to be coming into, this was obviously before the last season of Game of Thrones. We were speculating, they were going to be dealing with the Old Republic side of things and stuff like that, but as time's went on, I think a lot of people, certainly since this news broke, there's been a bit of a backlash on social media, certainly with Game of Thrones fans, saying that they were found out after, they were obviously they overtook the books.
Yeah, George R.R. Martin stopped writing.
A lot of people noticed the drop in quality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether or not, I don't know, because I never watched the series.
Oh, they absolutely did. Stephen, was a drop in quality.
I think, obviously, people were starting to possibly see through their talents, if you like. Yeah. I don't know if that's unfair to say that or not, but I'm picking this up on social media. But one of the things, that was always spoke about, it actually says it in the, this headline here from Variety, John, that they were no longer attached to oversee the trilogy. It was never confirmed that it was going to be a trilogy. It was going to be a series of films. Yeah. That could mean 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. So the fact that that was never concrete, they never actually officially came out. Lucasfilm said Benioff and Weiss are going to be overseeing this trilogy. They never said that at all at any point. So I just don't know if at some point Lucasfilm, the president and the board of directors there, started to see through, the sort of backlash from Game of Thrones, and their faith in these two, diminished at this point, and after all the carry on over the last few years with the franchise, I'm not sure they were prepared to take a risk. But it's one of these ones, it's very late in the day, 2 years on from when it was announced, very much like Rian Johnson's stuff's just nothing coming out. Some people have pushed a microphone in Rian Johnson's face at obviously premieres and stuff like that and asked him, and he's been very evasive, very sketchy. He'll not give anybody any concrete answers other than I'm still looking at it, still working on it. That doesn't mean anything. And the other thing as well, John, is that you look at the likes of who's it? Colin Trevorrow stepped away very late on as well. J.J. Abrams had to come in. They had to get somebody of his calibre to come in and rescue episode 9. The carry on with Rogue One, the reshoots.
Tony Gilroy coming in.
Yeah, and then the whole Solo thing as well, which is probably the biggest one. a total reshoot of the probably about
70%.
Bigger percentage of the film. It's just been one thing after another. We actually worked it out that more people who have been recruited on to work on Disney's Star Wars projects have walked away than the ones that have actually come in. I think that's shocking.
It's just indicative, Stephen, of the tutelage of obviously Kathleen Kennedy's presidency of Lucasfilm. It's been a shambles, one shambles after another. A production or producing of this new series of movies under Disney has been just an absolute disaster in every way. In terms of finances, you could probably say it hasn't been a disaster. You could say I'm talking crap. But even the finances, Stephen, have been steadily decreasing. The returns have been decreasing because the quality has been decreasing. It started off so well with Force Awakens. It was a decent rehashing of the original trilogy, if you'd like. It set a new generation up. It brought back older fans. We were excited, reinvigorated. We got Rogue One. Everybody, I think, most people were very happy with that movie. It was, again, channeling the original trilogy. Looked like things were going well. Then also The Last Jedi happens. The one which had the least amount of issues behind the scenes with obviously production and whatnot. It went through swimmingly, no reshoots. Everyone thought this is a great sign. We've got a great independent filmmaker in. Turned out it was the worst movie of the lot, an absolute pile of shit in parts. Wonderfully crafted in others in terms of visuals and soundscape and whatnot. But then also you have Solo, the unmitigated disaster. Lord and Miller shot nearly the whole movie. I think they were a month away or something, a couple of weeks away. Then they leave. They bring in Ron Howard, and he obviously partially saves the day. It was an okay movie. I didn't think it was terrible, but it wasn't outstanding either. And that's just indicative, as I did say, Stephen, of her presidency. She's supposed to be in charge of all of the film projects in Lucasfilm under Disney's obviously umbrella company. And we've seen the likes of Dave Filoni doing the animated series, obviously Rebels, Clone Wars, but that was technically before the Disney takeover. Yeah. Even Resistance. He's had a kind of an overseeing hand in it. I think he actually let some of his team take on that project though. But that's been much better. The actual mythology expanding out, the usage of more big, powerful characters like Vader and Thrawn and whatnot, that's been much better than the actual film projects. And I think the buck has to stop at Kathleen Kennedy. She's made one too many mistakes. She seems to have a hand in every single disaster that happens with these filmmakers. She's continually getting in the way, or having issues with them, and John, it's really causing issues.
It comes down to faith in your directors, but to a point. But I think deep down she's not got faith in herself. I don't think she's managed this well at all for the last 4 or 5 years. That
would bring you on, Stephen, to Kevin Feige as well, though. How much of this is down to Kevin Feige coming in, seeing obviously the treatments, if they were there, of obviously Benioff and Weiss' story, and saying that's absolute garbage, get that away, I'll come in and I'll take over this and that and I'll do this.
I think there's a connection there, John.
Could he be looking to step in and maybe take over these movies and do his own thing? Maybe he's got another vision, I don't know. Stephen, we were actually speaking before the show, we were talking about what happened with obviously even The Force Awakens, the treatment of that movie. It was Michael Arndt who came in and wrote that, and then it was tossed out. He was closely following George Lucas's vision, I think, and then he obviously was thrown to the side as well. We had Lawrence Kasdan come in with JJ and repen it. So even that movie, even though that was decent, that had its issues as well. It just seems to be every single movie, apart from The Last Jedi, has been marred with controversy, behind the scenes issues. And again, it has to start with the president and the person who's overseeing all of this production, and that's Kathleen Kennedy. I cannot believe they gave her an extended contract to continue on for another, 2 years left now? Yeah. I think she's running out till the next phase. Look, she's a fantastic producer. We've said it time and again. We've got her on the back there on Back to the Future. She was involved with obviously her partner, Frank Marshall.
With Spielberg.
Yeah, she's a wonderful producer. I can't down what she's been doing, but as she's taken over Star Wars, it's just been an unmitigated disaster.
As well, John, and I've got no concrete evidence of this, so what I'm about to say is alleged, is that she has I don't want to use the word agenda, it's the wrong word to use, but she obviously has a perception of the way things should be going with that franchise, and it's just not working, I'm afraid. Yeah. You know, you're dealing with a fan base of over 40 years now, who...
Predominantly male, Stephen.
Yeah.
Of all demographics.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
it's not just white males, there's blacks, there's Hispanics, even Chinese people, Asian people who have been fortunate enough to perhaps be involved in Western civilization. Not that that's some big thing you have to be doing, incidentally. No. Asian culture's incredible, but also they were more disconnected.
There's too much focus on it though, John. There's nothing natural about that, and certainly in the storytelling there wasn't. Certainly elements of The Last Jedi, animal cruelty and
terrible,
you know, stuff like that. I don't know what the point of that was. You know, we know that animal cruelty exists in the world. We go and watch movies to take us away. You know, it's an escapism. Don't remind us of these things.
We don't want to be getting bogged down with the reality of the world.
But, you know, off on a tangent, John, but I just think the whole handling of the thing, you know, they can say what they want about the scheduling and stuff like that, but they've been on this for 2 years now. This Netflix thing's just came up. I think it's nonsense. You look at the likes of Kevin Feige, who's managing a whole phase of Marvel films coming up, phase 4, which is going to, I think it's the next 2.5 years, if I'm not mistaken.
2022, I think.
So that kind of ties in when her presidency ends as well, funnily enough. So he can balance that as well as, you know, coming in and consulting on Lucasfilm stuff as well. So that guy's doing it all himself. He's got his team, but you know, as his position and where he is just now, he's responsible for what goes on in Marvel just now. He's got the time to come over to Lucasfilm and start advising and consulting on things that are going to be happening in the next few years. These guys, you know, have been working on something allegedly for the last 2 years, and all of a sudden something comes up that they're too busy to do on Netflix. Rubbish. Yeah,
not long after also Kevin Feige gets announced that he's stepping in to take over a movie or do a movie. Stephen, I think you're right about Feige. I think he will ultimately end up in Kathleen Kennedy's role at some point in their future. Whether he perhaps stays in it for a great amount of time will perhaps depend on how the hierarchy is in Disney, whether he sees himself taking over an Alan Horn role, overseeing the whole organisation in terms of perhaps various different projects, not just Marvel and Star Wars, just overseeing everything. That'll depend on how long he actually sticks it, but I think he will come in. He's an admitted Star Wars fan and he will take over, and I think we'll see an upturn in the fortunes of Star Wars. Obviously that's just running parallel with the Skywalker saga ending as well, which is unfortunate for the legacy characters, but it may be a blessing in disguise for Star Wars going forward. You've not got that added baggage, you've not got that monkey on your back. You can go off, create new worlds, which is what we always associate Star Wars with. Great new worlds, exciting new faces and characters. They can do their own thing, and they find like that monkey off their back, which I think has been holding them down. Nobody wants the expectations and wait 40 years of theories and whatnot bogging them down when you have the expanded universe to live up to, and people have a perception in their mind of what it should be like. But look, final thing I'll add on it before we move on, it's been going on for a long time.
Yeah, it's not the Force Friday show.
It's not the Force Friday show, but we can speak about Kathleen Kennedy and the disaster of her tenureship all day long, Stephen. To be quite frank, we used to speak for about 40 minutes on it. In our audio days, I could talk forever. Final thing I'll add, I think there may be a slight element of damaged goods in there as well, with obviously Benioff and Weiss leaving. I just don't think the Star Wars brand has the aura it once had 10, 15, 20 years ago. I think it's damaged in a way. The controversy and just the nonsense that's been happening with The Last Jedi, the toxicity within the fan base as well. I think people can take it or leave it, and if they see something else which I'm more passionate about, in this case perhaps these projects on Netflix, I think they'll just go off and do that and they'll say, well, screw it, it's not no great loss. And they've kind of left the door opened. How much of that is just, you know what I mean, politics, I don't know. But they've left the door open. Once their schedule's freed, then they'll come back, maybe, and do Star Wars. But look,
listen, I think
not much more to add, sadly.
I think more of this will be coming out as the days roll merrily forward to the Force Friday show, and if they do, we'll talk about it then on Friday, John. But we'll move on, as you said, to our next article. It's David Leitch would love to return for The Matrix. This is obviously the sequel, Matrix 4, whatever they're going to call it. Don't know what it'll be called, Unleashed or something, who knows. But this is what you had to say. If Lana called and wanted me to do anything on that movie, I would come. I'd carry a C-stand or sandbags. I loved working with her, and I loved working with her sister, and I feel like I owe so much of my filmmaking background to working on not only the Matrix movies but also Speed Racer, Ninja Assassin. They were great mentors to me, so if they call, I'll be there, catering even. So there you are.
I'm not buying that for 1 minute, Stephen. Catering, not a chance. An incredibly talented filmmaker, he's done it all. They say that in the article. He started off in The Matrix, second unit director. He's went on and done the likes of Hobbs and Shaw. I think it was him who was involved in Atomic Blonde. I'd have to check it. But the guy has a way about him. He knows how to do good action movies. I really enjoyed Hobbs and Shaw. I thought it was a great spin-off movie. It had elements in there which were a bit far-fetched. You have to kind of suspend your disbelief if you'd like, you know. But there was certainly enough going on in the background, and he's proven himself that he can handle big blockbuster movies. So certainly, I think if he is to come on in any form and take a role, he'd be at least directing some of the movie. I think he'd be having an eye to direct it. I don't know if that's something that obviously the Lana Wachowski would be interested in. I don't know whether she perhaps envisages just writing the script and then they'll bring in maybe a David Leitch to direct it, or whether she has her eyes on the directing of the movie as well. But look, it's great to see that it still inspires great passion and confidence in filmmakers that they want to come in and get their hands on this franchise. Because look, it's been in the doldrums, Stephen. The final movie, Revolutions was it? I think it was. It was terrible. I like what they're talking about in the article, incidentally, about the potential script for this, where they're going with it. Perhaps going Back to the Future. Not Back to the Future, that's terrible. It's because I've got that poster behind me. Back to the Past. Back to the Past. There's time travelling involved. And maybe we'll see a young Morpheus or some sort. So I think that's something that would be very cool. Keanu's not aged. The guy never ages. He's immortal. Search up on Google. There's so many photos of this guy going back to the 1700s. So I think they could do that. And they could do it well. And I'd love to see David Leitch come in.
I think, John, if they get the script right, if they get the story right, they're going to have a handful of directors wanting their hands on it. Another one, obviously, was Chad Stahelski, who we talked about previously. He worked on, I think he was one of the stunt doubles or something like that. I can't remember. He worked on obviously the stunt coordination or something like that on The Matrix, I'm sure. But as you said, John, he worked alongside Leitch in creating the franchise with Stahelski. So, as I said, it's one of these things. At the time when it came out, they were thinking about doing it. Do we really need another Matrix film? Well, not really, but it was such a inventive world to just look at. That first film was mind blowing. I don't know if you recall, John, the first time you saw it, but just for the visuals alone. And I'm not talking about just the bullet time, just everything about it. Neo falling from the skyscraper onto the road, and they kind of get sucked into the road and then bounce back up and stuff like that. Just the visuals were very revolutionary at the time. Characters as well were well developed in that first film. Kind of skimmed over in the second and third one with the new characters coming in, but I understood why they had to do that to open up the worlds. But it's something that, because of the storyline in that third one, everything was getting closed. It was what happened with Neo, etc. I just felt there was no room for story in there. But you're right. I think if they're going to do it, then this is a way they could do it. But I'm certainly, it's probably the best way. The other way they could go is the way that they've tried to handle the Men in Black franchise, which isn't a very good idea.
No.
By taking new characters in the same world. For some reason, it just didn't click with Men in Black International. I wouldn't like to see a Matrix International, I've got to be honest with you.
No, I don't think it'd click for this as well, Stephen. I think to have this being a success, you have to have that continuity of also Neo, Keanu Reeves in there. When you think of Matrix, you think of him. He is just the main man. Him and obviously Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus. Which sadly, they seem to be confirming will not be happening. That even if we go back to a past sort of a story where they're going through time travel, there's talk of them recasting the Morpheus character for a younger version, so that isn't going to happen, which is a shame. Don't know if Carrie-Anne Moss would come back as Trinity. I don't know how well she's aged. Actually, looking at a photograph of her now, looks as though she hasn't aged that badly at all. So she
was in Daredevil, wasn't she? Or that series of films, she was kind of in separate episodes of all the different sort of series, Jessica Jones, and etc. So she was the lawyer. So
she was,
I think she's looking okay for someone that's not played the character for about 15, 16 years.
Yeah. Look, Stephen, I actually forgot which directed Deadpool 2 as well. I forgot that obviously Tim Miller, I think it was Tim Miller, stepped away. The guy who's done Dark Fate, he stepped away, and obviously Leitch came in. And that was another great action movie, filled the ground with laughs and just incredible choreographed sequences. So certainly, this guy, if he is interested, I think what the hell is her name again? I've totally forgot it. The Wachowskis. I was about to say Stahelski, because I'm talking about Chad Stahelski. Makes no sense. The Wachowskis would be mad, or just Lana Wachowski would be mad not to take this guy on board in some vein and make it happen. You take all the talent you can for a story like this. Certainly in the era of quasi-sequels, seems to be the popular thing these days. So I think I'm on board for it anyway. I hope they are. I hope he comes on in some vein, and we get a great Matrix movie to live up to to obviously save that abomination it was Revolutions, because that was terrible. But not much more to add.
No, I have nothing more to add, John. We'll just have to keep an eye out for more news on that, because it is certainly interesting. But we'll finish off the show with a nice little bit of news here, John. Jojo Rabbit star reads Ryan Reynolds, Mark Ruffalo tweets praising film.
Yes. Ryan Reynolds praising the film, that actually surprised me, Steve.
Yeah, well...
It doesn't, because there's a guy who gets good humour.
I was going to say, John, the people that are praising the film are very intelligent people, so...
That's because it's a satire movie, Stephen, and it goes over some people's heads, sadly. Which is why I'm all the more surprised that it hasn't come out over here yet, that we're having to wait until, I think, the 3rd of January.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Yeah, this is kind of... well, I don't want to say it's the origins of satire. I think it goes all the way back to Greek... God knows, man, those mythology days. But certainly you could argue that we have been one of the founding fathers of satire, satirical comedy, with obviously the Monty Python guys and whatnot. So it's a shame that Taika hasn't seen it within him to give us the movie at the same time as also the States. But I'm sure there's good reasons for it in terms of distributing and whatnot and getting it into the conscience of people voting for the BAFTAs and stuff like that. But look, it's great to see that these people, as you did say, intelligent people who are firmly rooted in Hollywood, good actors like Mark Ruffalo, Ryan Reynolds and whatnot, really appreciating it. And it's great, once again, you see what a man Taika Waititi is. He's pushing this young guy, Archie Yates, to the fold, putting them in this video. I think he's posted it on his Twitter, and reading all these tweets. The little guy's adorable with those glasses. What a head of hair as well. He looks like a young Paul McCartney. And Taika says he's one of the nicest people he's ever met, and he's also awesome in this movie. He's pushing this young guy to the fore, giving him a limelight. What a guy, he's selfless. I just love the guy more and more every day.
Yeah, and it's all part of the promotion as well, John, you know, and it's one of these things that I don't know how it works, the logistics of how the films are released in, you know, different regions, etc. But something tells me, you know, that it's going to have to take a bit of word of mouth before it hits here, before, you know, people are going to get drawn out to see the film in theatres
in
the UK. Yeah. Because I think that's what it takes sometimes, because the title itself... no one's going to understand the title if they've not seen the buzz about it. So I think that's the reason for it, John. I think naturally it's going to be released in the US.
States are the biggest audience. Yeah, that's the biggest market.
Obviously the rumblings will, you know, eventually come over here and it will pick up pace. I think that's the reason for it. That's 98% well. But I think it's just since that first trailer, John, I didn't know much about it, if I'm being honest with you. You said, let's watch this trailer reaction. I've heard good things about it. Jojo Rabbit, it sounds like a kid's film. Well, essentially is a kid's film, but it sounds like an animated film or something like that. And okay, we'll watch it. I watched it and I was blown away, absolutely blown away, because like you, John, I get satire. I grew up with it, like it's a spitting image. Even more so, you know, lately with the likes of Alan Partridge, The Office, etc., David Brent. So it's just one of these, and the fact it's, you know, it's setting as well always intrigues both of us. You know that World War II,
I'm absolutely obsessed
as well. So it's a different slant on it. It's not as slapstick and silly as it was made out to be in that first trailer. Second trailer, we got more emotional. You know, obviously the ties with the young boy and the young girl, his feelings towards her. You know, the perception that he had of her people before obviously he met her. Obviously mother Scarlett Johansson's got obviously a big hand to play in this as well, and she's going to be the voice of reason for Jojo. So it's certainly a film I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm disappointed that I have to wait to obviously you know, the beginning of January before I get to see the film, but understand that's probably the reason why they're doing it.
Yeah, Stephen, incidentally, the person that plays the little girl Elsa Core is Mason Mackenzie. She was actually in a movie. I think you may have reviewed it. You might not have done, though. I may be talking crap. Leave No Trace. Ben Foster. I don't know if you did. Someone reviewed it, though.
I think it might have been Darren.
Yeah, someone reviewed it and we spoke about it. So she was in that. So, very talented young actress, and it just seems to have assembled a great young cast, obviously bolstered with some veterans like obviously Sam Rockwell, Scarlett Johansson, Rebel Wilson as well is in there. She did look very comedic, but yet again, if I can speak, she always seems to have that comedic flair. And you've got Taika, obviously playing Adolf Hitler, man. I mean, when I read about this months upon months ago, I was like, Jesus Christ, that's a movie I have to see. Taika Waititi, dressed up as Adolf Hitler, an imaginary friend. I'm in there. Also, the guy did What We Do in the Shadows and everything. Just something about his comedic style, it just connects with me. Satire, you add that in and I'm on board right away, because I love Monty Python, I love all those great satirical movies.
He also writes with a heart as well, John.
It does write with a heart, Stephen, and as you did say, final thing I'll add, it does seem to have that humanity within it as well, where you're viewing everything through the innocence of a young child's mind, all this brainwashed mantra and and try to indoctrinate a whole race of people into hating someone just purely because of where they come from or what their race is or what their obviously religion is. And then the innocence of that being framed, and then him meeting this young girl and realising she's no different to me. That's a beautiful thing. And amongst all the satire and all the comedy, it's always movies seem to have that. They all seem to have a bit of heart in them. So look, cannot wait to the 3rd of January to finally see it. I know I'll love it because I love all of the guys' work. But look, Stephen, that's going to round up today's show because I've not got much more to add. What did you guys make of Benioff and Weiss leaving Star Wars off to pastures new, working on their Netflix project? Is it Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm? Are they just a pair of selfish gits going away to do whatever the hell they want? Damn them to hell. What did you make about David Leitch perhaps coming on board to star in some role in Matrix 4, sweeping the set, directing, Lord knows? What do you make about Taika Waititi's Jojo Rabbit? Are you in the States or anywhere else which already has it? Is it good, shite, brilliant, okay? Let us know down below in the comment section what your thoughts are on all of those topics. Like the video if you have enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. Me and Stephen will be back tomorrow for another episode of MBE Movie News.